You all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The thing came out.
There's an invisible dog. Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Not that.
There's an invisible dog whose thing came out.
Red Rocket, Red
All you
Rocket,
see is
Red Rocket.
The red rocket.
Oh. Get your lipstick out of here.
Everything's invisible on him except his penis. Welcome back to Signed In, episode 110. I am Jeremy SuperPro33.
I'm Craig Prof Dresser.
And I'm Sean Shonix.
How are you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good.
Good.
Busy but well.
Busy. I'm busy too.
I was busy.
Let's all talk about how busy we are outside of this show.
Let me, because I want to complain about it.
I would like to, too.
I started doing this new job thing at my work.
Yes.
And it's actual fucking work. What's this all about? Is this what you guys have all been doing for years?
Yes.
You guys are suckers, and it blows. I can't stand it. It's been terrible.
They send you to Miami, and that was your little vacation,
Right?
and they're like, good, get to work.
Right. It's terrible. It's left me little game time and lots of stress, and I'm not happy about it. But what are you guys doing?
Oh.
You're overworked too, Sean?
Well, my last 2 weeks have been this week was all morning shifts, like working morning shifts, and then I had my nights free, but it's good TV week this week.
It is.
And
These are the
This is
problems.
why I don't watch TV.
But my mornings,
That's not why.
and my mornings were early, so that means I couldn't, like, it wasn't like the 11 o'clock morning that I call it, quote unquote, morning, where
Yeah.
I can roll out of bed and then make it to work in time.
Right.
But this was like, I had to get up at like 6 something.
What a bunch of bullshit.
And then the week before, I had to close all week, which was awesome for my gaming, but all my daytime before I went to work was either at the dentist, or at the dentist,
It sounds like a lot of dentists.
or at I don't have any teeth.
You do have teeth.
I do, but they look awesome.
They do look great.
My teeth look good now.
They do.
Before they just had holes in them, and
Ugh.
They're all
yeah,
cracked.
they were like Swiss cheese up in there.
You did like to open bottles
sexy.
with them.
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
Anyway,
I
I did that for many years. But yeah, very busy, very busy.
so fuck this work stuff.
Yes. If I could quit my job and just work games, come on, sponsor the show, people.
We don't want sponsors.
Where's our sugar?
We don't want sponsors, but we want their listeners just to throw money so we can
No, we don't want that either.
We want wealthy philanthropists.
There
Yes.
you go. Yes.
We need sugar daddies.
We need like a candy bar heiress, or to like totally like have like this, like this old Henry money to throw at us or something.
You want the founders of O. Henry to fund our show?
Butterfingers, I don't care.
I hate Butterfingers.
Skittles.
I can't be on Skittles. I'm in.
Oh, of course.
Down.
If we could do Starburst or Skittles, this
down.
show would be awesome.
This is also a terrible.
Based on this sponsorship, we're going to be talking about dentists every day.
Well, I was just going to say, this is a terrible idea with you just having all your dentist work.
well. That's what they're there for, to take care of it, right?
We'll have a team of dentists on staff in the next room.
Oh, no.
This is maybe the worst opening we've ever had to a show.
What, talking about dentists?
Talking about anything.
Oh, yeah.
This is the worst we've done. We did play some video games, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
A few.
Among all this other, very few.
Yeah.
I finished out Devil May Cry, so I'm going to talk
Excellent.
a little bit more about that. And I started. And,
Did you stick it to the man?
I don't know who the man is in that phrase, but I stuck it to a lot of people.
Okay, there you go.
So one of them probably was the man.
I think so.
And
Collectively, they're the man.
Dead Space 3 came out,
Ah, yes.
so I've been deep into that with as little time as I've had this week. So that's it for me. Sweet. What about you guys?
Not a lot in indie games caught my eye this past couple of weeks. But one that I had heard about before was Arcadecraft, and got a chance to play the demo with that, and I'm seriously tempted to purchase that one.
Cool.
I tried it out as well.
And then we got a review copy for Skulls of the Shogun, which was convenient because I was lamenting, how am I going to pay for Skulls of the Shogun? Because obviously I need to play this more.
Were you at the same time that I sent you the message?
Yeah,
because
basically.
I sent Craig a text, and I'm like, "Hey, are you interested in Skulls of the Shogun? Because we got a review code for it." And he's like, "I'm playing the demo right now."
Literally.
So I guess that's a yes.
Yes.
Nice.
So there you go. So that's good.
I finished up The Cave.
Is that it?
I played some arcade.
I'm out.
I did play. A couple of the offerings that they had up. I just didn't want to talk about them on the show.
Okay.
Because I was just like,
But we like the listeners like negativity too. Just so you know,
but
for future reference.
I'll
Did
remember
you
next
play that
time.
sexy sorceress game?
No. What was that one?
The one with the busty anime girl on the front.
Oh, an
shooting
indie?
electricity.
The
Yeah.
indie games?
Yeah.
No, but I looked at it.
No kidding.
Look.
I did too.
No kidding.
How else are you going to get gems on this show like pumpkin pie?
Pumpkin pie.
That's true. That is true.
Halloween, wasn't it? Halloween pie?
No,
It was pumpkin?
I think it was pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Maybe it was Halloween pie.
I think it was Halloween pie.
You know, it's stuck so well in my memory.
All I know is she got more naked the more hurt you got. Or no, the other way around. I can't remember. Oh, no, yeah, because it was the bad enticement of why do you want to have her get more naked, and then you would take damage, so people would get hurt on purpose. Anyway, that's an old show. You can listen to that if you'd like to. I think that was before
We're not
the
just
end of
going
the
to
year.
recap everything?
No, we just did, I think.
Well, there is an old show that has Yar's Revenge on it, so go back to that show
Yes, that's
and check
right.
that one out because
What
that
is-
game hit the XBLA this week for some odd reason.
I was not following news about Yar's Revenge or something,
Either
but I
was
got
I.
really confused, and I'm
Yeah.
glad you can confirm that actually was something we have talked about.
not a fever dream?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I swear this game has come out. I really downloaded it to try it out for the show, but I didn't get around to it because
Yeah.
it didn't really look very good.
Well, good.
No.
You can go back 2 years ago and listen to what you thought about it.
Yes, I'll just clip that into the show.
I think I brought it up, so it's probably bad.
Probably.
Yeah. It was just like, the game was, and the game fantastic.
Fantastic. All right, should we jump into some games? You guys got an
yes.
indie to talk about?
That's right.
Do it to it.
Arcadecraft from Firebase, who created that Orbitron Revolution game.
Ooh.
Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
It's a great game. That one's a sort of side-scrolling shooter where you're going around in the space base. Anyway,
Okay.
it's spectacular, and they do a lot of really good high-quality stuff. And I heard about this. I think I read an article about it, an interview or something on Joystick a while back. And so it stuck in my head because it's basically kind of a business sim.
Yeah.
Where you are, it starts in 1980 at the boom of the video game craze, the arcade craze.
Arcades, yeah.
And so you're getting into it. And so you have to basically set up your arcade, and you are going to be purchasing machines and managing machines and keeping up with repair and, trying to make sure you can pay your bills at the end of the month. And I, read this, and it's kind of cool, and uses avatar characters in there, and so you can see your friends list people playing the games in your arcade and
nice.
stuff. So that was kind of fun. But I started thinking about all the shit that you're gonna have to do, and I'm like, this fucking sounds like too much work. And I was like, at first I was like, I don't think I'm gonna play it. And then I'm like, I'll try it out just because I don't really have much else to talk about for the
You mean
show.
just the sim stuff of it?
Yeah.
Like that aspect of it?
Right. I mean, it's just a lot of stuff.
Okay.
And it didn't sound like it was bad. It's just like money managing, really? Do
Yeah.
I want to think about that?
Yeah.
And then I started playing it, and I was totally hooked into it. It's like, it's, really intuitive on setting things up, and, it's kind of real time. So, as you're buying new machines and setting them in there, people are running in and playing the machines that you already have set in there. I said, I bought a vending machine, and all of a sudden people are getting crazy about it. Every once in a while, a hot spot will pop up in your arcade, and you can set a machine on there, and then it's going to be like super popular. All the machines have their own popularity, and then you have a popularity for your arcade as well.
Yeah.
And I guess there's going to be leaderboards for that sort of stuff too.
Nice.
One thing that got me too was you can change the price on the game, so
Yes.
you can change it like to 50
Oh, you can
cents.
boost them up?
Yeah.
You can change the difficulty.
So the popular games,
you can change the difficulty on them, so you can make them a
Yeah.
little like put two of the same ones in the arcade, and then just make one harder. So then that so then
David, I was just thinking about it in that way that like, oh, this game isn't very popular. Let's make it a little easier. Maybe it was too hard. No. Sean's
I put two games
I'm going to
in there.
scam these people.
Yes. Like there's two cabinets of the same game. One's harder than the other.
And so they get addicted to it on the easy one, and then they're like, why can't I do it?
Yeah.
When they play the other one.
I know it can do
That
this.
is awesome. I wonder if it has claw machines.
But yeah, I wonder too. Well, that's the
What
other
a
thing too,
dick.
because what they've shown with screenshots as time progresses, the games progress. So then
Right.
you have,
Yes.
I'm wondering.
It's it's also a bit of history of video
Yeah.
games, because all the games are authentic games. Like, you can't play any of them, so there's no like copyright.
But they are
issues.
like legit, like
yeah, they're like
actual
legit
real
and,
games.
and there's there's like a tiny blurb about each one.
Nice.
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Do they move up to like? So you said it starts in the 80s and it goes.
I may be
like,
wrong about that.
Yeah.
But
Past.
that's why I was.
Well,
that
the
was my
games,
impression.
Okay.
the games, if they're not generic, they're really close to regular games, and the look of them and the feel of them.
I wouldn't
I'm
think
thinking
they-
back to the '80s, and who knows? I mean,
They're
there could
probably
be.
playoff and parodies because I can't think that
Maybe.
they could use even the real names
Yeah.
without trademarking
Maybe.
stuff. So.
But it's still, they're really. I mean, just the. I like the polish on it. I like the way it looks is fantastic. I thought it was very easy to just kind of get into it and move around the arcade. And it's a stone arcade, so it's like the old school like corner block.
Yeah.
that
It's a brick.
we never had. The brick. You know,
I like
that
how
always
as time's
wanted.
progressing, like there's some windows up in the roof or something, and so the sunlight kind of passes along the floor, and it's kind of a neat little feel to it.
Yeah.
I agree.
The first 8 minutes was spent mostly making it signed in arcade was the name of the arcade. And I had to have it centered because you can get a lot of characters on the top, but then there was too much space on the end, so I had to go back and
It centers itself automatically once you say done.
oh, awesome.
That's just where you type it in, and then it centers it
Oh
automatically.
man.
come on.
Plus, the awesome part, my dude with his giant moon head standing behind the counter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because your character, your
Yeah, because
avatar.
your avatar appears behind the counter
Nice.
in your little place. Yeah,
That is
so it was
awesome.
very nice. Did we mention it was 240? It's 240 points.
Yes, 240 points. That's the only thing keeping me from buying it flat
That's
out.
not really
But-
really what's keeping me from doing
but-
it. It's just whether or not I feel like I'm going to invest enough time to play it all the way through.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it is a sim, and so I did have a lot of fun with it, but I just that's going to take a while to get through everything.
Yeah. At $1, I would buy it flat out and then just give up after
Yeah,
a
I
while. Because that's the way I roll,
$3 whole is a lot.
But I thought for the way it looks, it's got a really cool look to it.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Yep.
Cool.
And I guess you
Well,
can
those Firebase guys design really nice looking games because
And-
Orbitron's very nice looking.
you can design the interior of the
Yeah.
arcade and make it look cool. So I don't know. I'm on the fence on that one.
I liked it a lot.
$3 whole.
$3 whole.
Is that all we have for indie this week?
That's
Yeah,
it.
that's
all right.
Really indie. Yeah.
I looked too. I mean, it's.
I played some.
I don't know. I think I've just
Although I
been
think
busy
Jeremy's
with
going
other
to go
stuff,
play the
so.
Sexy Sorceress game now.
I am. And Halloween pie, whatever it's called.
Now when you say it like that, it probably was
Halloween pie.
Yeah.
Yeah, sexy.
XBLA, Sean, you were talking
let's do
about
it.
the cave, right?
The Cave.
Yeah, let's go back to the cave.
I finished up on the Cave.
I'm the cave.
And really,
Tell me about my game.
You are pretty close.
we talked about it last episode. It is a little bit repetitive. You're gonna have to go through some of the same levels again. But I found that actually really not as like
Burdensome,
There you go, burdensome.
Annoying,
I didn't find it that
tedious.
Yeah,
irritating.
tedious. That's another good one. I like that one. Annoying, irritating, all those things. I didn't find it that way. I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with it. The monk though. He's got some powers on that guy.
Does he?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't used him yet.
Teleports.
He's got metal powers, like Jedi powers, and he can just pull things to him. So, like, I've really fucked up. Like, I set up my last two. It was the twins and the monk, and I'm like, well, that guy needs a cave painting, so I'll put him in the in the cast. Well, when I used the monk, he can like kind of not cheat, but not have to open doors. You don't have to. You can just pull
the
things
switch
to
on the
him.
other side.
Yeah, so then he would pull things to him, and then that would screwed up all these cave paintings that I missed in the house because one was in a room, and I'm like, I couldn't get to it now because the elevator was. I took the elevator out because I let the dragon out, and the dragon takes out everything. Yeah, that's in the night level.
I haven't done that one yet either.
Oh,
so,
you haven't?
No.
Oh.
I only played through it once so far. So
I was under the impression that you couldn't bring anyone else into the twins' house. It was just the twins. Somebody commented on that, how it's like that was
Yeah,
weird.
I said the
because-
twins' house, but it's the knight's house because I had the knight with me.
Okay.
But you know how there's an elevator there, and you ride the elevator down to another room, and that's where one of the paintings is at. Well, when you let the dragon go, he tears down the castle.
Right.
Well,
spoiler.
yeah. So don't do that.
Thanks for
Don't use the monk and get the bloodstone or whatever, and then it screws everything up.
Okay.
Trust me.
I won't do that.
But I had a lot of fun with especially I like the monk level, the twin level, but I really want to go back and get most of the cave paintings done because I feel like I'm missing story on the knight and I'm missing one other
Hillbilly?
one. No, I got all those.
Probably the one you didn't play through.
The
If you
hillbilly
didn't
level
have
is
it
fun,
three
though.
times.
No.
Have you only played through it the once?
He said twice.
Oh, you did. Okay, I'm sorry. You played through it twice.
Yes.
You finished the game twice.
I finished the game. All the guys.
Okay.
They've got all their things. I just missed the painting on
Got you.
Oh,
Now I see.
the
So
night.
you actually went through 3 times.
Well, yeah. Well, I
Nice.
went through it 3 times, all the characters, because on my final one, I chose the knight,
Okay.
because I'd already played him. Actually, I played him all 3 levels.
Yeah.
Didn't I? Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I wasn't there.
That's a smart way to do it, actually, because
And
that
that
gives you a
two
little,
new
gives
every
you a little
time.
more variety.
Yeah.
When you hit that.
You're
last
smart.
And I like
Nice.
and that's
I like
the other
that.
thing, too, about that game.
Not like you, but I like that.
It's like, like the way you were talking about the game is like, I understand that it would feel a little bit repetitive, but I
Yeah.
think the mixing up might open it up a little bit more, and it wasn't
Yeah.
as tedious. So I like that about it. I was a little hesitant again after we kind of talked about the game, and I was like, "Oh crap, that's right. I'm gonna have to go through all that stuff." But it wasn't that bad.
Not to spoil things, but like when you
I'm spoiling them.
Yeah, you ruined everything.
when you get to the end of a particular character's little area,
Yeah.
they're kind of a dick in the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a happy ending for anybody, I don't think.
I hear that there are like really kind of hard to find ways to do it where you're not that way.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Like
think
you can do
I think
something
that
else?
I think that came directly from Ron Gilbert. That there's like a nice way to finish out the levels or something.
Interesting.
I have no. I can't verify that.
Okay.
I want to look
but
that
I
up.
heard that.
to
Yeah.
I'm glad
verify
you made it up here.
You heard it here first.
Because it's not true. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't cry.
I have an Xbox 720. They're out.
Well, that'd be interesting, though. I wonder how that would
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
And it
I was
might
very
be-
excited by that. I'm like, that sounds really cool.
That would be cool.
If it's true.
If it's true. I don't know.
We don't know. You have anything else about the cave? Or
No, that was I had a lot of
You enjoyed it?
Yeah, and I'll probably touch back on it a little bit more and try to finish up some of those other paintings and go through them all. But
I'm glad you played the cave.
yeah,
Thank you.
and the twins' powers are pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that. I like the twins.
I didn't know it at first, but
That was the only
cool.
thing was it would have been nice to have a little more explanation about what people's powers were.
Exactly.
Although
Yeah, 'cause you don't really
wasn't-
know.
It was in the manual or in the little instruction
Yeah.
menu.
Yeah,
That's where I eventually found it. But
Whatever.
but
They need
us,
to tell me.
But me and Jeremy,
Right. I'm just like, what? They're not going to tell me how I do anything?
they used to put
because we couldn't figure out what the twins
paper
were for at
manuals
all
in the game.
Yeah.
forever.
They used to put paper manuals in the game. I didn't pay attention to those.
Those were for taking notes and
Yes,
leaving your
I know.
passwords and making your Mega Man 2 grid to like fill in those circles with the certain areas you have to.
Right.
That's exactly what I did them with.
That was what it's for.
Yep.
All my grids. Anyway, all right. Let's talk about the Shoguns.
Let's do it. Skulls of the Shogun. I believe it sold for 1,200 points from 17-bit. This is one that I'd heard about a long time ago as well. It's a turn-based strategy game with a bit of a silly bent. And I read about it a long time ago because it was slated to release with Windows 8 because it's actually cross-platform. Like you can play multiplayer with people on
really?
Windows phones and
Nice.
Windows 8 and all that. But then it got delayed. And actually, I continued seeing more stuff, and I started thinking, well, it looks kind of simple. Maybe I'm not that excited by it. At first, I was very excited. It's got a very cartoony style. It reminds me a lot of Rascals and stuff in sort of the character design and goofiness given to it. But then, it looked very simple, and, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm not that interested. And then it came out, and I'm like, oh, I should actually check this out. And I started playing it, and it is fantastic. It is
Good.
really, really good. And whatever Sean's going to say is wrong.
No.
That's a setup.
That's about right, though.
He cut you off at the knees.
That is
Like you
about
couldn't
right.
even get a word out, and he cut you off.
Craig couldn't even. I mean, that was left unsaid. I mean, people at home are like, "And Craig,
Right?
yes."
Well, here, let me break it down a little bit for you. So you play as this General Akimoto, who is an alive guy at first, and he's just won this awesome battle, and he's on his way to becoming Shogun in Japan, when all of a sudden he's literally stabbed in the back, and he wakes up in the land of the dead. He's fairly okay with that at first, but then everyone starts dissing him, and there's, it's a really shitty deal down there. And then all of a sudden, he finds out somebody is saying that they're going around saying that they're General Akamoto in the underworld, and that is what breaks it. And so he goes on this rampage to track down this imposter, and you end up encountering a whole bunch of other generals who are aiding this guy, and you get a bunch of undead guys who are like, "We'll join you," blah blah blah, and so that's the basic story there. You encounter some gods along the way as well, and there's good gags throughout. There's one general. I love the generals all have their own motifs, just like, samurai would in ancient Japan, where they'd all have their own design on their helmet. Yeah. And they're kind of, I think they're based on actual designs or what. One guy has like a honeycomb design, and one guy has like a stag beetle horn coming out. But they all have different personalities too. Like one character was like super in love with this healing goddess of cherry blossoms or whatever that you encounter, and he's like, "Why don't you return my texts? Seriously, baby." And so he's constantly forlorn with love. And then the other general with the stag beetle horn constantly swears, but he doesn't actually swear because it's a family friendly game, but it's all words that sound like actual swear words. And so you spend a little time deciphering what he's saying there, and that's kind of fun and funny.
Nice.
And I mean, really, it's a basic design. You essentially have your general. You have cavalry who ride horses. They have the longest distance. But they have an average strength, and
because it's played like a strategy game, right?
It's a turn-based strategy game. It doesn't have a grid. I'll explain movement in a moment. But you have your cavalry, you have your infantry who have the highest defense, and you have your cavalry can move the furthest, and they have the furthest reach for close combat weapons. And then you have your archers who have the longest range, but they have shit for defense, and so they can get picked off. And then later you unlock these monks. There are 3 different monks that you can summon in different levels, and they have a variety of powers. One guy heals, one has offensive powers, and I haven't actually encountered the 3rd monk yet. But the game, like I said, it's not on a grid. It is turn-based strategy, but it's not on a grid. You have basically free movement. So when you choose a character, like a big circle appears around your character, and then you can move basically anywhere within that circle. And as you're moving in that circle, another circle is shrinking down around you. And what that is representing is basically your movement that you're going to have left if you take an action.
Gotcha.
And so
I was playing this game wrong.
No.
Shut up. I gave you that one. You can just let it slide.
No, I can't.
So, because while, and so you move forward, and then once you're within range of enemies, you have an attack range as well. And so you go into your attack mode, and there will be a red circle, and then there will be an orange circle around that. The red circle you're guaranteed to hit, well, depending on other factors, but basically you're guaranteed to hit. And then the orange circle is like an 80% chance to hit, like you're just stretching out to your furthest.
Okay.
And sometimes it's good to take those risks. Because,
so it's breaking down like you can color code kind of how your assured
basically
shots are.
And what's really nice is that your enemies will react in a particular way to show you whether or not you're within attack range. And so, if they're going to, because there's counterattacks as well. And so if they're going to counterattack, they'll raise their weapons up when you get within attack range. If it's within that 80%, they're going to glow orange. So, so you don't even have to like stop and check your radius and then move forward and check your radius again. Yeah. You can pretty much figure that stuff out pretty quick on the fly.
Pretty fluid with your movement.
And really that's one of the things that I'm so impressed about with this, is that it's just absolutely fluid.
Awesome.
And the only hiccups that I've encountered are mostly because I get so into that fluid thing, and then there's like one little thing where you kind of have to make choices, and then I screw that up because I'm going too fast. And so so your general is kind of like the king in chess. Basically, if he goes down, it's game over for either side. So you can spend your time wiping out, lots and lots of little peons, or you can just try to make your way to the general as fast as possible. And then there's this thing called the spirit wall. And so when you have two characters standing each other, they kind of flash and there's this red glow around them, and they're forming a spirit wall. Spirit walls are important because they stop knockback. Cavalry, I'm sorry, not cavalry, but infantry will do the most knockback. Cavalry will do a little bit of knockback. Archers hardly do any knockback, which is good because you can push people off cliffs and off of bridges to instantly kill them.
Yeah.
Nice.
But if you're in a spirit wall, they can't do that. Archers can shoot other archers from behind spirit walls without getting counterattacked by their arrows. Also, spirit walls, they can't walk directly through a spirit wall. So, if you're trying to protect your general, for example, you can cluster up into a wall, and then people have to walk all the way around your wall in order to attack your general. There's a lot of everything's very simple and implemented, but it just creates so much strategy. There's, potions that'll appear hidden in bushes and stuff sometimes when you walk by them, and some heal you up and then give you a regenerative power. Some supercharge your strength, and man, that can be really nice. And then on top of that, the eponymous skulls. When you kill somebody, then their skull drops, and it's in like a little helmet. And you very early in the game basically get the ability to eat skulls. And so when you eat a skull, it heals you 3 hit points. Oh, I should mention the hit points, which is fantastic because it's a very intuitive, very easy to see sort of thing. They all wear those banners, like those upright banners.
Yeah.
And so the banner is basically your health. Now, you can't see all the specific bars unless you're zoomed in on them, but basically you can, and it tears away when they lose health, and then like their banner gets longer when they get more health.
Nice.
So you can have a pretty easy, you can take a look at the field.
A nice
and,
visual cue to see where you're at.
Exactly. But what was I saying here before I talked about
Eating
banners?
the skulls.
Eating the skulls. Yes. So you thank you. You kill,
How could I forget?
You kill them. Their skulls lying on the ground. Oh yes, you eat a skull. It heals you up 3 hit points. It also increases your max hit points by 2. And then there's this little skull floating around you. And then you eat another skull, same thing happens. But then, when you eat your 3rd skull, you turn into a demon.
Nice.
And a demon, his costume changes a little bit. He gets a cool little mask and all that stuff. And a demon can attack 1 additional time in the level. I'm going to forget that too.
There's a lot going on here.
And your general starts off with some special abilities. Not at the very, very beginning of the game because there's some story stuff, but most of the levels after that, your general will start off meditating because he has the same health as everybody else, like 6 hit points at the beginning. But every turn that he's meditating, so he's not doing anything, then he adds potential hit point. He increases his max hit points. But then you can wake him up. But he's got 2 actions per turn at the start. But if he turns into a demon, then he's got 3 actions. And he's like super strong and pretty well defended. So, he's a big risk. If you lose him, it's game over.
Because then now,
but he can really switch.
Because you beefed him up, and so to have him running around, you're risking anything happening.
Exactly. And so, there are entire levels where I never wake him up, and then there are levels where I'm like, get the fuck up right away. Got to get you in there. We need people. And now one important thing for the game is that you have 5 actions per turn. And that's a fantastic thing because it really eliminates any sort of the strategies where you min-max things, where you're like, oh, well, this guy is the cheapest and he does the most the cheapest damage ratio, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm just going to make a ton of them and then, swarm them all at the opponents or whatnot. Because you only get 5 actions, period.
Right.
And, your stronger guys are slower moving guys or weaker defense guys. And so there's all these different trade-offs. And then there's environmental hazards. If you knock someone into thorn, like I mentioned falling off the ledges before, it's an instant death. You can knock people in the thorns for extra damage. There are bamboo that you can hide in for extra cover, basically, so it's harder to hit you.
Nice.
And it's just like everything feels very open. It doesn't feel as restricted. And it's this weird blend where it feels really easy, but it also feels really complex,
Yeah.
And it's one of the, there are times where you can get frustrated, especially if you're trying to do it in a particular way or something.
Right.
I've completely botched things. Things can turn on you immediately, in one turn just because you did something stupid. You like left somebody standing out by themselves and then you're fucked.
Well, and you're still playing a game of percentages, right? Like you have a percentage to hit this. I mean, it's not an automatic. attack kind of thing, or is
as
there
long as they're
a chance on
as long
any
as
of
they're
this
within
stuff?
their red circle. I mean, as long as they're within the red circle and they're not hiding in bamboo or something like that, then there's no percentage really.
So you're automatically going to hit as long as you're in that. So it's not.
But you have to go closer to do that.
Gotcha. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
There's another trade-off there.
Yeah.
And there are definitely levels where I got really frustrated and I kind of threw down the controller. I'm like, God damn it, I was trying to do this stupid thing and then it didn't work. And then I sit there and I look at the controller and I'm like, I think I can do it if I do it one more time.
Yeah.
And you're like, I think I broke that.
And I jump. No. What I'm saying is that I'll get mad at losing one time, but then I'll immediately be like, well, I kind of did something stupid here, and I did something stupid here. It's one of those games where you blame yourself for the errors.
I blame myself for this game a lot. No, I do. Because visually, I thought it was amazing looking.
Yes.
I think it looked fantastic.
And it's pretty funny, too.
Yeah, there was a lot of things going towards it. I just was playing it way wrong. I should pay attention.
Were you playing
what
it?
were you doing?
He was like, "This isn't anything like Castle
were
Crashers."
Were you always walking as far as you could, or something?
Essentially.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of go forward, hit, and come back, create a spirit wall, block things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of You even. I mean, really, if you get into
I
it,
made it less involved than it should have been, I think.
probably.
I was like dying a lot because I wasn't doing it right.
I mean, if you get really into it, I mean, it's important to pay attention to things like what order, when you kill somebody or something, because I mentioned you could eat skulls, but when you kill somebody who has eaten skulls, then these other skulls pop out. And I should mention, you can't eat your own character's skulls. So they're all wearing their little Shogun hats. And so you can't eat characters who have the same color hat as you. But your opponent can eat those skulls. And then when you kill them, then what comes out of them is their own skull, but then these generic skulls that you can eat. And so, obviously,
So there's also a strategy of maybe you should kill that guy and eat his skull because then I can get more out of you.
That can happen. But what I was talking about was like it's a bad idea, for example, to kill one of those guys with your last action for the turn. Because the enemy AI is pretty smart.
And the first thing it's going to do is
eat
get all those.
The generic skull so that you can't eat it.
Right.
And that's the other thing is that the enemy AI is pretty good.
Cool.
It's not like frustratingly impossible, but it's pretty smart. And so, you do have to be on your toes. Now, one last thing I want to mention, because I've been going on about this forever and I should probably stop. But one last thing is that every level has like these golden skulls. They're basically secondary objectives that you can try to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, some levels, they have golden skulls that you can't try to get like all three at the same time because they're at cross purposes with each other or something. So, they're pretty obviously built in for replayability. And so, a lot of people might look at that and say, it's just if you want that achievement, blah, I'm not going to do that. I actually say do that because here's what I do. When I play the game, I start it up, I play maybe 1 or 2 new levels, and then I go back to old levels and I'm trying to get skulls because I am learning new strategy. I'm figuring out better ways to play the game by going back to those easier levels that I'm familiar with.
Yeah.
And, and then I use that stuff when I play a new level. And that's actually helped out quite a bit. Now, I haven't ventured onto the multiplayer online yet because I am very scared that I'm going to get my ass handed to me. I can pretty much guarantee that. I don't know.
Then you'll get frustrated for real
for game time
when you're actually versus a real person.
Potentially, I don't know.
I would.
The silliness of the game helps to kind of mitigate that a little bit.
That's good.
Yeah, but because for your total play time, it counts up your lowest times for each of the levels, and so there's like an achievement for having your total time be less than 3 hours. And if you look at the top of the leaderboard, there's a couple folks that are a couple minutes under an hour. I'm like, holy shit, what are these people doing?
Like tearing through everything.
Yeah.
Now, for somebody like me who I haven't checked out the game yet, and I've most recently played XCOM,
yes,
put it in some kind of scale for me. Since you've played both,
yes,
is it similar kind of feel?
Yeah, it is.
Not on the management side, but on the strategy game playing side.
The strategy is pretty similar. You're not going to have a super wide variety of different types of attacks. Mostly, you're just kind of managing your different types of characters.
Okay.
There are ways to get more characters on the field. I didn't even talk about haunting rice paddies and haunting shrines and all that stuff. This all comes in later in the game. Although the demo Okay, I do have a beef with the demo because you play through a few levels at the beginning and it gives you a basic concept, and then all of a sudden it throws you into this battle on like this map against another general, and there's all this shit on the map, and you have no idea how to use it
because they haven't talked to you.
Because they haven't talked to you about it yet.
That might.
I mean,
I'm trying to think.
Admittedly, they do a really nice job of pacing things out so you don't feel overwhelmed by features, and I like that about the game. But and you know, it's understandable that they wanted to throw you further into it.
Right.
But I was like, I'm totally terrible at this level. Anyway,
So do you find it more of a fun strategy than you do on XCOM?
yeah, it's definitely fun.
You had more fun
I would
with
qualify
this?
it as fun. XCOM, I like, but it just kind of activates that cerebral part of my
Right,
brain
yeah.
and that sort of challenge part of my brain. I definitely feel the challenge here, but it is actually quite a bit of fun. When you turn the tide against your opponent, it's really exciting, and,
cool.
and then you just start, rampaging across the map to get at them. It's pretty good stuff.
So if you enjoyed XCOM, definitely check this out too.
Yes. Yeah, you don't have that sort of tie to individual characters as you did in XCOM.
Yeah, right.
Where,
Yeah.
That's true.
Where they're all progressing like that. And there's not really much progression because it resets every map. And so, the most progression you have is leveling up to a demon
Gotcha.
level. But yeah, there's lots of cool features that you can get to later in the game as well. And I highly, highly endorse it. It's
Awesome.
a lot of fun.
I'm gonna give it a second chance. I'll give it the college try.
I'm going to give it a first try.
I think I gave it the college try the first time. I don't know what they
Pay
I don't
attention.
know how
Pay
those things
attention to
go.
what they're saying to you.
See, that's not good.
Well, you got to listen.
Oh, now you're
somebody-
gonna tell me to
They
listen.
throw jokes in
Yes,
there.
I'm not telling you to read. I'm saying listen.
Well,
Okay,
you do have to read. There's no voice acting.
Fuck. Never mind.
They have
Exactly.
but they have word bubbles like a comic book.
Oh,
Pretend it's like a comic book, Sean. You can do that. You do
yeah.
read those, right?
I do, kinda.
So you say.
No, I do.
I've listened to the pull list. I don't know. Some
Because I
of those.
didn't bring my notes.
I think some of those
It
you
was
just
the last show. I was
look at pictures.
discombobulated.
All right. So is that it for XBLA then?
Yeah,
You can talk about Yar's Revenge?
No.
No? Okay.
I already talked about it.
Oh, that's right.
I'll splice it in here.
No. From the old show?
Yes.
And
That would sound terrible, probably.
we talked about Crysis 2
I went back
on
and
that
listened to
show.
it. We did.
Yep. And I didn't mention Crysis 3 at the beginning of the show, but I did play that beta
Did you?
demo.
Beta.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about it.
Because I totally forgot about it. I was really interested in this because I was interested in. I liked Crysis 2.
Did you play?
A little bit of it?
Okay.
I didn't. I remember the demo. I enjoyed a lot, and then I think I rented it, and it just.
So this is the beta, so it's
Yeah.
the online multiplayer,
It's
right?
online multiplayer,
Okay.
and you're pretty much fighting against everybody that has the same suits as you, and they, you have two different loadouts. What I really enjoyed about it, the maps look nice. The screens were good. The games getting into a game was really quick.
yeah.
Like a lot of these, the player demo beta types. Seems like it's hard. You're sitting there for a while for
Sure.
a game to load. Some of them lately that I've tried.
Yeah.
But this one, I got into a
Crysis
game.
just comes out in a week and a half.
It's
or
next
something.
week.
Next week.
I wish they
Oh,
would.
maybe it's the
It's
week
the
after.
19th, I believe.
Okay, week after.
And I wish, hopefully next week or the week coming up, they're going to have actual gameplay, because the multiplayer was fun.
Yeah.
But
you want a regular demo?
But I want to see what the game's like, because the map.
That's why I didn't do the beta.
The map looked good. It felt huge. I felt like I was getting lost a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of tunnels. It's not very open. There was like little, back ways, and you go down underground, and because it's just like
totally how that Crysis 2 was. Too,
Yeah, and
with
it's
all those different paths.
Yeah, overgrown cities because it's post-apocalyptic, but the flush, or whatever you want to call it, lush with floral, if you will.
Flush with floral.
Flush with oral.
Whoa.
Hey, that's my
Oral
kind
B.
of show.
I'm in.
But
Oral B enema.
from what I played,
what?
Flush with oral.
Flush with oral. Anyway. I'm trying to make a band name and an album name out of those, and I got confused. Sorry.
Simultaneously.
Yeah.
but from what I played of it, I enjoyed it, but I'm hoping I can try out a demo of the actual gameplay down the road. I like the setup. I thought the maps look nice. The world looks nice. But there was some gameplay problems that I have just because it's a shooter. And and when you're working with other cloaked people, because that's the big thing about it, that's the other problem. It's like you're standing there and then you're dead. And I like it too because it's got the good kill screen now, where it shows how they killed you
Yeah.
from their perspective, which
Yeah.
I think I like that now. So like there was that moment where a guy was about to, totally, what do you want to call it?
Kill you?
Not kill me, but
Murder you.
not murder me, guys. Dip his balls in my face, if you will.
Teabag?
Teabag. I couldn't think of it.
I know. I'll show you.
I know. But it was like his character went up to mine
Yeah.
and then stopped because it went to the shot where I think you had that, Craig, on one of the games that you played where it went to the kill shot where
Yeah.
it showed it. So like, but it was funny because the guy was walking over to my character.
Oh, that was Max Payne 3.
There you go. So it felt like he was about to teabag me, but then it got denied. So I like that about games now that they don't.
Denied.
Yeah, they don't allow you to kind of do that, or at least show you on your side getting teabagged.
Right. You don't see it.
Yeah, they may still be doing it, but then what's the point now?
Well, some guys are into it.
Yeah, then they should have that for themselves. But
They do.
It's nice that you don't have to see it anymore.
true.
Yeah. So
There should be a designated teabag corner where they can all go.
like
So you're all running around with your allies, and you're like, "What's that over there?" Don't go over there, man.
It's just everybody squatting.
Yes.
You just see heads bobbing up and down. Everybody like, is that a bunch of groundhogs over there?
teabaggers.
What is that?
T-Borgie.
T-Borgie.
I mean, I'll go to I'll take cover on a wall and squat off and on. I mean, that's fun, but not over someone's face.
Right. I
Just
got
go
you.
up there and just be like,
Right.
But
That's funny.
The controls I really liked for the controls I really liked for the game. They're very like your classic you duck and cover and Gears 3. So I enjoyed it. I'm definitely going to check out the rental.
Did you shoot arrows?
No, see, that's the other thing too. Is that like that's the big part of the whole intro? You get a trailer for the game essentially that's telling you get the Hunter Edition because then you can be cloaked and then you get a bow and arrow and you can shoot the bow and arrow when you're cloaked.
Is this the voice that uses?
The voice I'm using. I would have bought it. I would have bought it if they because
I wouldn't buy it from that voice.
It's the Cabela special edition.
I was gonna say that's what it sounds like.
you just kill bass,
You gotta pause to
arrows.
spit
kill
your
bass.
jaw.
Yeah, exactly. And then I'm thinking,
You can get all cloaked up and shoot with an arrow
Yeah.
from your invisible suit.
well, you just.
I was going a little bit of Bill Cosby. Sorry, I don't know why I was doing that.
Cosby
I like
was
the
starting-
Cosby better, actually.
I don't know. Sorry.
Would you get your suit and
Why don't game companies hire him?
I don't know. Why'd you get that Crysis? Get to put him out. Anyway, that's terrible. I don't know what's even happening there. Sorry.
But Crysis 3 beta's out.
what I heard.
Multiplayer.
All right.
Check it out, but really wait for the game, I guess.
Yep.
I want more of the I hate when they do that and just
Because you
put
probably
out
won't play multiplayer anyway. You'll just play the
Exactly.
single
That
player
worked
campaign.
okay with that Syndicate game because that was
Yeah.
kind of team based.
Yeah. But when I need a little
Yeah.
campaign. Yeah,
You need some alone time
I do.
with your teabagging.
I did not teabag anybody.
corner. I almost want to do that in a game now. It's like totally.
Guys come over there. Hey, teabagging only. You in?
We're not shooting anybody.
would be
We're
the
just teabagging.
And if you could get like totally like someone from the other team
Right.
to be like, what are those guys doing? I can
Oh,
pick them all off, and then they all of a sudden wander over and
You
start.
need to do it in Call of Duty where the people can go prone, so then they can just have one guy on the other team lay down on the ground, and then everybody else can like teabag them. And everybody's like, "What the fuck is this?" And then one
And then
douchebag throws a
play
grenade
like
in.
polyphonic spray
Yeah.
in the background or something.
Yeah, that one asshole from the other team would throw a grenade just to
Yeah.
end
ruin
it.
everything.
Well, that's all right. Then you just set up a new corner.
Yeah, but it'd be fun just
Death
to,
doesn't stop teabag corner.
you get the other team joins in and then everybody just stabs them while they're doing it. Wait, I thought this was the safe zone.
This sounds great.
Teabag corner.
Why isn't this a multiplayer mode?
Yeah.
It should be. I don't know.
No, so
All right, Devil May Cry. I'm going to touch back on that.
Okay, sounds good.
I talked about it last episode. I had just gotten into it a little bit. I finished out the whole game. I think it was a little over 10 hours, maybe.
Nice.
Probably about the right length it needed to be.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it quite a bit. I found it to be kind of easy, not difficult at all. I wasn't dying ever. And I don't know what the reason is for that because I heard a lot of people talking about like difficulty and I'm not very good at games. I was playing on normal, so I
Yeah.
wasn't even playing on baby Jeremy mode. But there are a lot of other
Maybe you were just awesome.
it could be that I'm amazing.
You're like combo SSS.
I was trying not to sadistic. I was trying not to, be full of myself, but it's probably what it was. No,
right.
there's a lot of other difficulty options in the game though, and those kind of open up as you beat the game.
Right.
You get harder difficulties, and then they even throw in things where they kind of remix everything up and change up the enemies and make them stronger. And then there's other versions where now everybody dies from one hit, so enemies die from one hit, and so do you. And then there's a mode beyond that is you die from one hit, but everybody else still takes normal damage. So you can play through on that level. So there's other options there. If it's so, I shouldn't run my mouth because there's a lot of other things I could do that probably wouldn't be as fun for me. But I enjoyed it quite a bit. There was some gross bosses in that game.
Yeah.
Like, disgusting.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Oh my god. There was some gross stuff going on. But there was some also really cool levels. Like there's this one in a club that I loved. It was just really well done.
Cool.
And a lot of fun, and that also had the grossest boss in it. So that was a problem at the end. But they opened up like a ton more weapons, and we talked about last time that I didn't have that like sky thing where you kind of could jump then do like a little fly thing.
Yeah,
I didn't have that yet, which I got, and then everything was fine. I didn't have any more problems with jumping because you had more, he didn't have to worry about lining up at that point. In fact, I would overshoot sometimes is what I would do.
I could see that.
So that was still a problem. But they throw in a lot more weapons. I didn't know there was going to be so many different kinds of weapons in there. Like I thought there was just the one of each, like the sickle that you get, and then the big axe that you get.
Right.
But there's two other things that you get on those, or one other thing that you get on those. So there's two that you can switch from, of like the angel and the demon side. And then your pistols that you get a shotgun, and then you also get this like kind of grenade gun thing. So there's three different ones, and you choose those with the directional pad.
Sure.
Nice.
And so you can just switch between them, and there's things that it gets a little goofy in the game where there's
What?
Well, it gets a little goofy in as far as almost like gimmicky, because now there's like, oh, here's this red door, but you can only bust through it with those fists, not the axe.
Right.
And now you go through that one, and here's one that you need to use the axe for. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why? Just let me use either one, and then because there's benefits to both. So, so there's a lot of those kind of weapons. I wasn't expecting it to be on that level. It got a little much. I kind of just stuck with the same kind of couple things that I used over and over. But I ended up enjoying it a lot.
Excellent.
And I thought it was a lot of fun. I could see people who are definitely into like that difficulty thing and wanting to go through those other levels. Right. I can see the people that are into the score based, because there were a lot of things to go back and find. It is the kind of thing where you run into things in the early levels with using abilities that you don't have yet.
Right.
So when you go back and replay them, you have all of your maxed out weapons and abilities, and so now you can get into these areas and find the hidden things.
Gear gating.
So I did a little bit of that. Some of the larger levels I did about halfway through the game, because I played it probably once and a half.
Yeah.
And then I got to the halfway mark again, and I was like, because I was going back and kind of capturing things that I had done, and kind of just wanted to farm some of the achievements for like using all of your angel weapons, killing so many people, and so I was just limiting myself to those.
Right.
But some of the longer levels that had more of the hidden stuff, I didn't want to go back through again. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do that. But it was a blast. I really liked it. I heard, unfortunately, that it didn't sell very well.
No, it hasn't so far, at least.
And
I
that's
think
kind
they've
of
only shipped a million or something.
It's kind of concerning to me, because it's probably the most accessible Devil May Cry for me, and maybe that's the problem, because I think there's a lot of people that didn't buy it because of the change that they had made from the original gameplay.
There's that stuff. There are some people who are kind of put off by the fuck the man attitude it seems to have, because it's a little on the immature side.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that too.
From the outside,
it is a little bit.
And so, there's some people who, I know there's some people who are like, I'm not going to play it because of that. And yeah, there are a variety of factors.
It's kind of depressing. I mean, it's kind of a bummer, because I hope that they don't revert back to like their other kind of gameplay, because the games never did anything for me before.
Right.
And this one did.
Yeah.
Like it was just it was forward moving all the time. I didn't feel like it was ever slowing down, and I never wanted to put it down. Like once I got back into it, I just kept going. So
Nice.
And it's nice accessible chunks too, with the way they do their chapters.
Awesome.
So I really liked it. But a little bit lame, yeah. I see what you're saying about that, like the story standpoint, because while everybody looked great and animations were great and dialogue was great and the voice acting was great, the writing was not so great.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff was really kind of just, I wanted to punch Dante like all the time.
And I know there are a lot of people who are like, there's a baby killing part or something like that got leaked on YouTube or whatnot, and so some people were really put off by that.
Well, There is, but
Yeah.
it's
no,
a big...
no, and then the supporters say this is contextualized.
It's not like you're doing an abortion.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
You don't grab a lady out of a mall and kill
No.
her unborn baby. She's a demon.
Oh.
And it's a gross thing.
Yeah.
It's gross. And that baby deserves to die.
Wasn't Zombie Apocalypse? Didn't they have like that weird baby thing? The little lady that would squirt the zombie baby out?
What?
Yeah, that pregnant lady that would walk around.
Yeah.
That twin stick shooter, the zombie apocalypse. Scene.
Oh yeah.
And that pregnant lady would come out, and then she'd give birth to like that those things
I was
that would
stuck
fly
thinking
around
about
or
the
whatever they
sequel
were.
for some reason.
That was gross.
I forgot about that.
Why ain't people getting on that?
Yeah, I don't remember anybody
Come on, bring that
saying
hate.
baby killing.
I'll tell you guys about that part when we're done. Because I don't want to ruin it for anybody else who doesn't
All right.
play. But don't let me forget Demon Baby.
Demon
I
Baby.
can't wait for Devil Will Cry.
Just him weeping.
Devil Will Cry. Because he's hardcore.
Devil should.
Devil may cry.
Devil should cry.
Nah, Devil will
Too
cry.
non-committal for you.
Yeah.
You want the shirt thing.
You don't want to play through all those hours just to be
Just at the end.
disappointed.
Does he or doesn't he? Does he or doesn't he? I need to know.
He may.
He may.
He may.
Depends on how you do.
And then someone's like, he did it off his camera.
Oh, gee.
He turns around, you see his back, and you see his hand go up,
Oh,
and he
like-
wipes away a tear.
He flicks it and it's like, melts a hole in the wall. That's what Devil Tears do.
We just
That's what
made
my
a
mom
terrible
told me.
game.
Yeah.
Nobody would buy that.
Not nearly as good as our teabagging multiplayer mode.
That's awesome.
It would
That's
have that in it.
gold.
Dead Space 3, should we talk about some of that?
Yeah.
I want to hear about it.
I will tell you what. I was wrong. I was wrong, and my concerns were justified in my head
Sure.
by what we've seen, what they were doing with it. I can tell you I was wrong 100% to have those concerns.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed it. I will say I still like 2 better. I'm almost done with it.
Yeah.
I think I've got like 2 chapters left out of the 19 chapters that are in there. So I've got a couple of chapters left. Thus far, it hasn't had the impact for me that 2 did.
Yeah.
There were just some really, really memorable things from 2
Sure.
that I loved, and I haven't had that with this one, and I don't know what the reason for it is. There were some things that were really cool, and I liked it, but there was just some things that I don't know. 2 just hit me in the right way.
Right.
I'm also not completely sold on the story. I'm not really hot on what they're doing. They also are kind of 1 and 2 are convoluted. Like there's just so much weird
Yeah.
shit going on, and they kind of just jam it down your throat the whole time. And so we've had private chats for both 1 and 2. And so we kind of processed through and talked about some stuff, and you almost need to with the game because so much stuff happens, and you kind of need to be clear on what actually went down.
Sure.
And for 3, you would hope that they maybe kind of rehash some of that stuff, but everything just gets thrown out there. Like this is what happened before, blah 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 blah, and now we need to go do this, and this is why we're doing it, and everybody just like tosses everything around. Like I'm like, what? Like this whole journey's leading to this point, and I don't really agree with how they were going on the story wise. Some of the stuff, like you're going to this.
They're robbing it of some of its mystery.
They are a little bit, and also at the same point, and maybe that's my predominant problem. But also at the same point, you're going to this place where this stuff has been like researched for hundreds of years, and they were looking into this stuff with the markers, and then I'm really so what happened in the last 200 years where people didn't know about any of this? I guess I don't know. I'm getting a disconnect there.
Illuminati.
I guess it was all hidden. Nobody wanted to know the truth, but. All that aside,
I bet
gameplay,
Future Mulder was searching them out.
story aside, because story is secondary for me in this kind of game. The driving force is the gameplay. The gameplay holds up. That whole outside stuff, the demo that you play, doesn't happen until like chapter 8 or 9.
Nice.
So you're like halfway through the game before that even becomes like you're outside.
Oh, wow.
You're doing other stuff, and I was surprised by it.
Well, I knew that couldn't have been the whole thing because you look at the video at the end of that demo and
Right.
there's
Yeah.
space stuff
Yeah.
going
And I
on.
knew that too, but I didn't know where that fit in
Sure,
because
yeah.
it kind of felt like the beginning of the game where you're like Isaac and you don't know what's going on.
I kind of
and-
thought that was going to be the
So
opening,
did I.
and then you
Sure.
go off in the space.
Yeah.
And when that didn't happen for 6 hours, I was like, what the shit? Where does this demo come from?
Nice.
And then, I kind of
cool.
figured out. But then also the demo is really kind of pieced together because it doesn't play out that way in the game
sure.
at all. So it's really smooth, but it's almost like they just took a slice of like 3 different things and kind of made the demo into that.
I kind of saw where
And-
there were some seams, I think, when I was
Yeah.
playing the demo again.
Yeah, that probably.
I was like, what? Who's this guy? Where did he come from?
Yeah, and it doesn't play. It plays a little different. There's a couple elements that are in effect during parts of the demo that are in the regular game that aren't in effect during the demo.
I see.
With like your body temperature and things like that come up, and that doesn't come into play at all in the demo. So that was interesting. It's nice that they kept it fresh that way instead of just giving you here's the opening, first stage and go do whatever you want. But
Definitely.
I'm enjoying the gameplay. The gameplay's just as tight as it was in 1 and 2. I will say that it feels a little. I mentioned that I did like 2 more, and I think maybe this is another predominant factor is that Isaac kind of felt like his own man in 2. Mm-hmm. Because we talked about that with 1, where you were everybody's bitch.
Yeah,
and it kind of feels like
right.
This,
I remember us talking.
This
about
kind of, but it kind of feels like you're regressing again, and you're everybody's bitch. It feels more like Dead Space 1 than it does
like,
2.
Go over here and do this for me. Yeah.
You're now like because you have a team of people that you're kind of working with that changes. That you're working with these guys, but everybody's kind of giving you direction and telling you where to go and what to do, and this piece needs to be done, and you're kind of just running around again doing everybody's dirty work. That's what I felt, and I was like 2 was such a like Isaac standing up and saying, I'm doing this, or doing it on his own. He was kind of solitary for a lot of that stuff,
right?
And that's not what it feels like in here, unfortunately. So I do not like that either. I kind of feel like you're doing bitch work again. But gameplay wise, I was concerned about the crafting. I really haven't bothered with it at all from the beginning of the gameplay. And I can't remember if it's because of the limited edition, because the limited quote unquote edition that you get right now, which is every version of the game, it includes like some weapons as DLC and like some suits. And I think that probably later pressing of the game won't have them, and that's when it'll be non-limited edition anymore. They just won't include that out of the gate. But I can't remember if it's a weapon that I got from that or if it's a weapon that I got from playing Dead Space 2 or whatever, or playing the demo, having that on my hard drive. It recognizes that and gives you some rewards for those as well. But they give you this maxed out like plasma cutter, like this, or I can't remember what it's called, Earth Cracker or something. I can't remember. But so it's
at
like
the beginning.
You get it at the beginning. It's not. It's just really powerful. Yeah. It's not maxed out, I should say, because it works different. It's not like with those power node kind of things.
I was just remembering back with 1 when we had that Xbox suit that we got for
was like,
free, and then we accidentally put it on and we couldn't take it off,
and it was all super powerful.
Yeah, and it was too powerful, and so it like took a lot of the challenge out of the game.
I didn't find the game challenging, and I don't know if it's because of that weapon that I was using, but also I don't care. You know what I mean? Because I'm playing on normal.
Well, I guess when I play it for the tension. Like that's a lot.
There's still plenty of tension.
Like. Okay, so
but I didn't feel in danger. Like and I also felt like I was getting so many items. Like there was ammo everywhere. I will say what I love about. What I love about this is they changed it this time around where all ammo uses the same ammo.
Yeah,
fucking awesome.
I noticed that. And
every weapon is just one kind of ammo,
and you craft collect ammo clips.
Yeah, and you just have that ammo, and you don't have to get specific ammo for different weapons.
I didn't notice that, but
it's nice.
But yeah, I mean, I was playing the demo, and you go to that drill area,
yeah,
and then there's all those fucking things chasing you around, and then you're done, and it's like this glittering field of like fireflies or something with all this shit everywhere, and I'm like, ugh, I gotta go pick this up. And I spent like 4 minutes picking up everything off the ground.
It is a lot of that. But I got a ton of, here's the thing, I think I'm playing on normal, and when I say I had a ton of items, I mean like I was getting med kits, but I wasn't using them.
Yeah.
So my storage thing was like full of all this shit, and it was like I was never having to use them.
You were hoarding it and you weren't selling it.
Well, yeah, I guess I could sell. I'm glad I didn't, and I will say this because I made my notes, my preliminary notes on the game, and I was like, it's almost too easy. And I literally went back to playing, and I went on this level, and shit has been different. You definitely hit a cliff at a certain point of like a certain chapter where everything up until then has been kind of even and easy, and then they kind of all of a sudden ramp up the enemies and give you those like darker guys, you know, they're stronger
ones,
and then give you a ton of them. And it's like it was like a snap of a finger. Like it was all of a sudden I'm using all my shit. I'm almost dying. And so it was like, it seemed a little uneven.
Yeah.
But also there's an aspect in the game where there's optional missions. So you're playing through the game, normal missions, and then each stage or chapter that you're in, most of the times they'll have an optional mission that comes up. And so they're like, oh, you can go check out this other place if you want to. And that provides more background into like story-wise. You can find text things in there. There's usually, mainly the impetus for going through those is to get better weapons, better add-ons to your crafting of weapons. Because at the end, usually on all of those, you end at basically going to a big loot chest. You get to this big storage thing that has a locker that you open up or a safe that you open up, and there's a ton of stuff in there, like weapons and abilities or options for your crafting stuff. And then there's usually a lot harder enemies in those, so you're kind of running through those on your own. And I've done all of those optional ones that have come up so far, and it seems awesome. I like that those are in there, that if you go through multiple plays and don't want to do them, you don't have to, but if you want to this time, it adds in some more gameplay, like these other levels that you can run through. There's a couple in the game that are co-op only, so you have to have a co-op player to go through them, otherwise you can't go in. It takes you a little bit out of the game when you go to a door and it says co-op.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Instead of locked. Yeah. It should just say locked.
Well, it's like a organic, fresh market. Like a co-op?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's a farmer's market.
Yeah.
You got to put on the hippies.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, the door won't go off unless you're wearing Birkenstocks.
Did you bring your own bags? Because the door won't open for you unless you bring your own bags.
That's right.
You got that just patchouli smell
and my
going on.
nipless.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm here for the co-op.
Can you craft that?
You should be able to. That'd be amazing. So I skipped over the crafting because there's a lot to talk about. But the crafting, I didn't mess around with at the beginning. I've started to now because I felt the need to, because now all of a sudden I had to look into other strategies because I was almost fucking dying.
Yeah.
And so for the whole time in the game, I just stayed comfortable, and like just use my same weapons and didn't mess around with adding on things. Well, so now I'm like, well, if I get in a tight corner and I can't shoot these fuckers because they're not dying right away, I need to see what I'm doing to like increase. So, now I looked at maybe throwing in a flamethrower at the bottom of my cutter.
Nice.
So now it's got like a big flamethrower thing on it. And so I can do that if I need just a second to breathe and like set them all on fire so they react. There's also little bonuses you can throw on your weapons that add fire damage or electricity damage or acid damage to your weapons, but there's one that throws on stasis, so I'm using that on my cutter. Yeah. So it hits them with a little bit of stasis automatically if they get hit with a bullet, so or whatever you're shooting out of your cutter. So it slows them down a little bit, so that's a nice little bonus. There's also chip spots on all of your weapons. You can add in chips that increase the damage, clip capacity, reload speed, and shooting speed.
So the node trees have been replaced by just straight upgrades.
Yep, exactly. So, and then building your own, which I still haven't messed around with. I've used those same weapons because that's how I roll with these games. I get stuck in those things, and it's really not for me. But I think in multiple gameplays, if I go through again, I'll probably mess around with making some different weapons and kind of messing around to see what
you don't want to make your
works.
Gears of War Lancer.
I do kind of. There's a nice bonus thing you can put on the lower tool instead of using like the flamethrower, for instance. You could throw on this hydraulic thing that makes your melee attack stronger.
Oh, okay.
So it like doubles your strength. So you can throw that on there, and now your melee is like super strong when you hit them. So it's been great.
Cool.
The scares have been there. It's definitely.
Good.
I think that it is a lot more jump out scares than 2 was.
Sure.
And those are a lot in there, but this one seems like they like to do that a lot more. They've ramped that up quite a bit.
Well, we kind of noticed that in the demo even.
We did, and I was worried about them popping out of the snow, and that was going to be like the thing. And that happens in the snow, but really inside, it's the same old, same old. And they had an awesome segment of the game where it was totally this movie experience for me, where I walk into this room, and you hear this noise, because you can hear the guys when they're around, even if they're not out yet sometimes. And they'll throw in all these sounds to like freak you the fuck out. But there was a sound of like this, and so I didn't know what was going on. And I looked in this whole room, nobody's popping out. I go open the door. I can go in the next room, nobody pops out. Because sometimes you go to open the door and it malfunctions, or it opens and then somebody busts out.
Yeah.
Nothing happened. I went in and went back in that room, still that noise. I'm like, what the shit is this noise? And so I'm looking around the room, and I look up, and there's these things hanging upside down. And they've been over me the entire time. And I was in another level earlier in the game that they were above me. And when I either when you shoot them or when you walk under them, they drop. But I was walking around this entire room, and they were not dropping. So the only thing I can think of is it was completely intentional, that they want you to have that moment where you're like, what is this? And then you do that slow pan up like in a movie, and they're like hanging right over your face. So the only thing that would have made it better is if that's when they would have dropped. Like if they registered when the camera raised. But it was amazing. So then I started shooting them, and then they dropped down on me. But it was an amazing like moment for me in the game where I was like, fuck this. It is great.
You were totally Hicks.
It's totally what
You were
it
like
was.
looking up. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. The unified ammo is great. There is no credits. So you don't have the money kind of thing anymore.
right.
You buy everything with scavenged or salvage parts.
Because, of course, we go to the barter system in the future.
Exactly. As time progresses, money goes away.
Yes.
Well, yeah. That's
It actually-
Star Trek. They had no money.
It works because it fits in with the whole crafting thing, you know, you getting the like spare parts and things like that. So it works theme wise.
Yeah.
It works. You do get these scavenger bots that you can send out. So there's these little mechanical things, and you get in certain areas when you listen to this audio cue go off, and you can send them out, and then they take a little bit to collect things for you, and then they'll return back to a bench, and they'll unload a bunch of things that they scavenged for you. And I think I have 3 of those now, so I can, you know, at 3 different points I can get them, and it takes a little while for them to
DJ
come out.
Roomba.
They're all DJ Roombas. That's what they look like. Totally. But then
Can you name them?
you can't name them.
Ah,
I will
see.
say this: I kind of hate
would
this.
have won me on that one.
I get this, but I kind of hate it, and I just feel like it's kind of lame. But I understand why they want to make money on the game, or these aspects. The microtransaction aspects of it are a little weird to
although
me.
I hear there's an exploit where basically you wouldn't ever have to do it because there's like this constantly generating resource or something. If you
Really?
if you move from one room to the next, look it up. If they haven't patched it yet.
What is that? I don't know.
There's like, I'm not entirely sure,
Okay.
but there's some resource that you can pick up.
Okay.
And, you know, certain games, you move into a new area and then it regenerates.
resets,
It
yeah.
resets. And so there's this one area that's really easy to get back and forth between. And so you just walk around one corner, pick it up, take it in, open a door, set it down. And then you
Nice.
go back out the door and around the
awesome.
corner and all that.
Well, what is you can buy like the parts that you would normally
Yes.
get, or you can buy packs that have add-ons to your weapons, like a
Right.
random assortment thing, and you can buy those with real, you know, Microsoft points,
Yeah.
which you use real money to buy Microsoft points, and then use Microsoft points to buy. It's that whole like transaction, but. You can also spend other things you make in the game on those as well that the scavenger bots return for you. There's these rations that you can use, and you can use those to buy those items as well. So
Yeah.
you don't have to use real money, but there are things that cost real money too, like weapon sets and suits, and those you can only get by spending actual Microsoft points. But then there's also these things for the scavenger bots that you can buy, which is. That's what I hate.
Yeah.
There's a thing to make like the scavenger bots 50% faster, so they return back to your bench 50% faster, and that's $5 to buy that. And then there's things that give your scavenger bots personalities, so they speak,
Oh Lord.
like kind of a claptrap kind of thing. I'm assuming.
Yeah, sure.
But that also costs money, like $5 or $10 to do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, if you have that, like, I don't want to see that that's something you had and made, and like, here's an awesome bonus, and you can buy it if you want. Because don't show me that. Certainly not on day
It's
one.
not crucial to the game.
It's not, but it's kind of shitty that they're like, oh, here, you could give your bot life, but, you know, we could do that, but you should pay for it.
They need to make that unlockable somehow, like one option, you
To get
know,
something.
so at least you can work towards it and not have to pay for it.
They should have it so one of them talks. Like, if I have 3, just have one of them talk. So they can see what it's like. But regardless, I understand why they do it too, because, you know, they need to make money on the game.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I hate seeing it and then seeing I can't have it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Sure,
Like,
sure.
here's what we made for the game. You want to buy it?
I
No,
always-
you should put it in.
Hell, I spent that $5 on that XCOM customization.
That's true.
thing.
That's true.
Although that came with a character.
I would have dropped that, like, yeah, because like after playing it and then your whole color modding and things like that for players,
That's
genius.
very useful,
Yep, yep.
actually.
But yeah, they should allow that for a game though, at least an option, and then say, well, if you want, like, the fact that they should make it so your bots can talk, like you can unlock that
Why?
down the road. Well,
How is that important?
who knows? Well, the fact that they allow it, that to me, you should be
Well,
able to.
but then you can get into an argument of what in the like what
exactly.
atmospheric experience of the game is important.
Exactly,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, oh, so now we have
Whatever
enemies.
they decide is important.
Now the enemies don't make noise unless you want to pay for it.
yeah.
Oh, come on.
Well, but
now we're getting into DLC quest territory here.
I know. I'm kidding, and it's
No, I
minor.
know.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
I do hate seeing it. And then like that $sign behind it.
Yeah.
I got over it because I don't care. Obviously,
like
right?
if it
I'm not
sounds like
criticizing
Samuel
you.
Jackson, okay, I'll pay the
You
money.
want the Samuel Jackson
or Hulk
voice?
Hogan, I'll go get that stuff. That was more Randy Macho Man.
yeah.
Yeah. Randy Macho Man. There'd be another one.
R.I.P.
You want celebrity voices on the scavenger bots? Then you'd pay for it?
If Michael Winslow did all the voices for all the bots, I would pay for some.
Well, they already have that then. They do have like twirls and whistles and bips and bops, so that's probably what
if he doesn't get credit, if he doesn't get credit for
That's
it,
what
then
you get.
I'm out. Yeah. Exactly.
That's my Michael Winslow.
What if the voices are like, ugh, again?
Right. That's what I'm saying.
That's it.
What if you pay for that and then you get that and he's like, ugh.
You
And
want
it's
me
just
to
that.
get what? He's just a dick.
We're spending way too much time on this. Anyway, so
I think this is the crux of the matter.
I have not played any co-op yet because I want to play through it on single player.
Right.
Yeah.
I was worried how that was going to mesh in if they build it around co-op, how you were going to play single player. It's been seamless.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm really dying to play co-op to see how that works because
Right.
it feels like a single player game.
Yeah.
It almost feels a little Fight Clubby. Because you'll have these cutscenes where you've done this whole level by yourself, and then you walk in, and now you've got like the people, and so Carver shows up.
That's what happened in the demo. That's what I was kind of talking about there.
So Carver shows up, and you're like, you
can
talk
see
about,
it.
okay, we're gonna do this now,
That's funny.
and the camera pans around, you know, to go back behind Isaac, and then you turn around and he's gone, and I'm like, did I just? Am I? Well, I don't think that's the case though, because other people are reacting to him.
Okay.
So other people are talking to him, unless everybody's made up. Like I
Maybe.
said, I haven't finished it yet.
Isaac
I know.
was going crazy in
I know.
2.
I'm waiting to see at the end, but who knows?
I got
two chapters. Yeah,
I was about to yell at that guy in the demo because I was like, "Why the fuck are you up there, man? Wait for me,
it's very much like that. Like I
or
felt
jump down here and help
he's
me."
totally Tyler Durden me the whole time through the game. Like he just shows up and then disappears, and I'm like, was I just talking to a guy?
Yeah.
Hey, people that are here, somebody was here, right? Are you guys all here? I don't know because I'm nuts.
Oh.
So
And Isaac has had hallucinated people
exactly.
before.
So we'll see. But I wonder, and then I wonder on the co-op how that plays out. Like the guy you played was a figment the whole time.
Remember
Who
I
knows?
talked about hearing about that thing where
Yeah.
one person is maybe seeing things that you're not seeing?
Yeah, exactly. Like Isaac
That'd
making
blow
up
my-
your whole existence.
That would blow my mind.
If that ends up being the case, don't consider this a spoiler because I have no idea. So I'm sorry if that's a spoiler because this is just me hypothesizing at this point and telling you what it feels like, and it feels like Fight Club. So
Don't talk about it.
I'm sorry, I broke the first rule and the second. Damn it!
yeah.
I'm striking out all over the place. But I'm going to finish it up. I'm definitely going to play through again. I know there's like a classic mode you can go through. There's New Play Plus or whatever, the normal thing where you carry over the stuff. But I know there's a classic play too that gets rid of all the crafting stuff.
Ooh.
And I don't know how that works, if it works in a more kind of upgrade system.
Yeah.
Or if so, I'm curious to see, but you can't
That's
play it until you
intriguing.
beat it. I think
That's
so.
weird.
I'm kind of interested to see how that plays too.
Cool.
I'd like to see that classic mode.
Can I get a classic over here?
Exactly. But it's still, as much as it's not living up to 2 for me, it's still great, and it's still Dead Space, and it's still that environment, and you should play it. So
I'm definitely.
and you should play it.
I
I'm
think you
definitely
just hate,
picking it up either tonight or tomorrow.
I think you just always think games with a 3 on them are not as good as 2.
It's usually the case, right? I know. I'm in the same boat as Mass Effect on that.
Yeah.
It's rough.
It is rough. It's okay. You want to come over here?
Don't touch me. Don't even phantom touch me. Don't even like pretend to touch me.
Phantom
Stop
touch
thinking
me.
about it.
I was
Phantom
waving
touch.
you over is what I was doing.
I've been phantom molested. Is that
Prove
it?
it.
It's the most brilliant crime ever. You jackass. Stop phantom raping me.
Freaking ghost dad.
No, that's going.
Oh, sorry. Did I go too far?
Yeah, that's going too far.
You went too far. You're the one that did it.
No, I didn't.
Damn it. This sucks.
Oh.
Oh, this is the worst. Is that it? We done?
Yes.
So I'm going to talk about some Dead Space 3 co-op next time because if
Okay.
one or you two don't get it and I can't play with you, I'm going to play with somebody.
No, I'm definitely.
One or you two.
One of you two.
I'm definitely gonna be picking it up. Yeah.
Okay.
I just couldn't this last week, man.
Cool. You're going to get scared though.
I will.
It's scary.
I am, but I got through 2, and I
did.
and I totally shut that
should
out of
play
my
it at-
head.
You should play it at 1 in the morning with
You
the lights
did.
off.
I totally shut it
You
out
did.
of my
You
head.
re-
I forgot I finished
You totally
that game.
repressed that
you
memory.
forgot that?
He repressed it.
I remembered it.
Yeah, because remember we were talking about last
Yeah.
time?
Yeah, and you said that we did a private chat, and I'm like, holy shit, I played that game all the way through. And then when I was playing 3, all of it was flashing
demo.
back to me, and I was like,
Yeah, you repressed it like a
I
bad
did.
memory of being abused.
I did. Ghost Dad was phantom touching me.
Whoa. The movie? Why don't you come over here and let me touch you?
Now you got it.
Sorry.
I said Ghost
That's
Dad like
Ghost Dad.
5 times.
I'm sorry. I don't listen to you.
I know you don't.
Are we done?
That was gold, Jerry.
Yes.
Signinpodcast.com is our website. You can find links to our Twitter. I'm on Twitter at signinpodcast. Sean is on Twitter at
Shonix.
and Craig is on Twitter at
The poll list.
the pull list. Yes. Try saying with the out hands in your mouth.
No. I'm allowed to molest my own tongue. You can't stop me.
All right. Also links to our Facebook, all of our
Molest
past
my own
episodes, our forums, which we've had a couple of new people in the forums jump in, so that's nice.
Yes.
Hello, everybody.
Yes.
And in fact,
Some new friends on the friends list.
I'll talk about it down the list here in a little bit. I'm trying to look at what I was going to say.
Friends list. That's what we should rename this show.
The friends list.
Friends list.
But we don't play any games with anybody. It's the worst. It would be an ironic title.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The friends list. And then we get rid of all of our friends.
And then block accounts.
Yes.
Just shut
The
it
friends
down.
list. All right. Comments at signedinpodcast.com is our email address. You can email us there, and I will usually respond to you at some point. And the next episode, speaking of the new people on our site, one of the new people on our site, Daniel Simmons, graciously offered up to send us a game that I can only presume at this point he stole. Because I don't know why else he would do it.
Welcome.
But thank you. We'll take it. Don't steal for us, though, really. He wanted us to check out Anarchy Reigns, which came out earlier this year, which we hadn't checked out, which I've heard mixed things on. So I'm looking forward to checking it out. And then we're going to pass it around, and we'll probably talk about it next episode.
I guess Bayonetta's an unlockable or DLC
really?
or something in there. Yeah.
Nice. It is a platinum game, so yeah, that sounds about right. And by the time next episode is out, Aliens Colonial Marines comes out this week.
Right.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance comes out in a couple weeks.
Revengeance.
Crysis 3 comes out in a couple weeks. So that'll be a lot of stuff between now and then. So we'll see what we have to talk about.
I'll probably play none of it.
Yay!
Lucky.
Aw.
I'm kidding.
I'm going to try to play some Dead Space co-op. And not be scared. Yeah, I know you guys all want silent.
I think Dead Space co-op. I wouldn't be scared.
You know, and that's why I wanted to play the single player first, because I think you're going to miss a lot when you have somebody else and you're talking, and those guys. I know there's a lot of things I'm missing from.
Well, you know, if you play with me, I'm just going to be making fart noise.
Well, and I don't mean to go back to Dead Space here, but that was another weird thing for me with Carver. He shows up at the end of the game. I'm in the last couple of chapters. No, but he shows up and he's talking about like his life, and I'm like, I don't know anything about you, Carver. But I think that probably happens in the co-op that you guys have a lot more conversation.
Yeah.
But he shows up and he's like, I had all this stuff, and I'm like, when did we talk about this? I know you're in my head, but no, we don't know if that's true.
Spoiler.
From his Facebook page. Come on.
That's right. I do probably have that in the mask. I was looking them all up. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? He's got some photo of his dogs. That's all I see. Really into this. All right, can we stop?
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.